I think one of the things that encapsulates that, how do you spell courage? Courage.
Yeah.
You can't have true courage until you cure
Cure
rage.
rage,
Because
yeah.
courage is something that you're coming from an empowered place. For instance, the guy that he killed, the CEO of that company, and some of these people can't even decipher like the CEO of a Starbucks opposed to the CEO of a UnitedHealthcare
Right.
or somebody that just
Right.
like for instance, my business partner, we have a small company. He's the CEO of our company, but we're doing good situation. Or the Ben and Jerry's, they've done a lot of protesting.
For
Their culture's done a lot of protesting. So you
For
can't just like all of a sudden
sure.
put somebody in CEOs. That's what a lot of people are doing. They're like, oh, men or all women situation. When you're putting it all in CEOs, we have to be able, because when you widen the circle, because a lot of times at first they thought a lot of liberals were the ones that were didn't care about the CEO getting killed, but it was a lot of Trump supporters too that didn't care about the guy getting killed, because a lot of them were affected by the family. Again, as we've been challenging to let's be a sovereign individual, and I know they do toxic things. If that's the case, don't rely on that. My frustration with a lot of people is, why are you continually giving your power to the people that you feel don't give a fuck about?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, why keep doing that same thing? And then be angry about it, and then pass on that anger through generations, because that's also what I've seen.
For sure.
You know.
Because I feel they're not coming, and even when we do that, we're not coming from an empowered place.
It's like internalizing that I've been wronged, and I'm been wronged, and you're just kind of staying in that vibration.
And if I was talking directly to somebody that was doing that, I was like, okay, what are you getting out of that feeling?
Yeah.
Are you virtue signaling in some way? Like,
Right.
I'm being wronged. Does that feel good to you? Do you feel
Right.
glorified? Like, I feel in the past we
Right.
didn't pay attention to the victims that much, but now we're giving dopamine and excitement for somebody that is a victim.
That is a really interesting.
For sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, when I look at these situations, I'm thinking, okay, you're complaining about the white man, or you're complaining about women, or you're complaining about all these different people, but I feel that you're not necessarily. I don't see a better world with you in charge.
And I say this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, if you are complaining, you have too much time on your hands. Like, if you're constantly complaining, like, that's a really good, wake up call. Like, oh, let me reevaluate my life, because you literally you don't recognize your power whatsoever. Like, to the point where you're just constantly criticizing and this and that. It's like,
it takes the same amount of energy to complain or more than to put it towards a solution.
100%. 100%.
And I could say, even during my lifetime, there's certain things that have changed that I would have understood somebody's place more than I would understand it now. And there's real shit that's going on for people. I'm not saying that.
For sure.
But if, say, you're coming from a place that's like, oh, I don't have money for school, you can learn everything that you need to learn on the internet.
Especially nowadays with our access to so much information. Yeah.
It's an issue of you not being decisive, but a lot of times, again, people want to put their power in people's hands that don't give a fuck about them.
Yeah. We definitely need to do a restructuring around that. And I've been asked, because I've been talking about this conversation of creating social change and what are those components that allow us to move towards collective action. And what I realized, especially trained as a psychologist and like being bombarded by all that Western propaganda, I'm gonna say it.
That's controversial. She said it.
Is that?
How do you think they did during COVID? I'm joking.
Shit. What were you talking about?
You were talking about the Western.
Yes,
This
the Western propaganda with the psychology. I lost my train of thought, but it's okay.
giving power to other people. You've been in the social change area
Oh,
for
yes. In this work of social change and thinking about it from a collective perspective, right? Because that's very large scale, big scale. It requires a lot of people to be cooperative and be willing to take action as one unit. What I realized is people have a lot of trauma and they don't believe in their internal innate power. So doing that is very challenging. And that's why many moons ago, when I was doing my social justice work and my activism work and standing on the side of the roads with my picket, my little signs, and saw the internal fights that would go on internally within these advocacy groups, it really became clear to me that there's a lot of trauma that hasn't been processed, right? Because oppression, suppression, that's and then continuously living in that or that reality of that can be very taxing.
Dopamine response for it.
Totally. That in order for us to actually create systems of change, we have to come back to the self and connect with the self and bring the power back to the self. And so that's why for so many years I was really focused on like this concept of self-love and creativity. Because if we can recognize that we are creator, we can create our own reality. We have the power to do that, the means to do that with all of the intellect and knowledge systems that we each possess, both epigenetically, meaning passed down from generations before us, and in our own life. And then connecting that with the vibration of love, which is like the true voice or frequency of our life here on earth, that together we create innovative systems for ourselves so that we can speak our truth, say what we need to say from a place of love, right? It's not about putting someone else's truth down. We could speak and then move into collaboration, but literally needed several steps before we can even get there. And that is so crucial because if people aren't recognizing that, going back to the healthcare system, we just buy into these ideas like, oh yeah, get a job. They're going to give you healthcare, so that you could stay healthy. But then realizing that the healthcare system isn't there to keep you healthy. It's there, let me say, keep you sick, because that's what gets them paid. Like, it's like a returning customer. It's like if they make you something that's super high quality and doesn't need to be replaced, well, you're never going to go back there and buy that item again, right? The healthcare system is very similar to that in my experience. So it's not a place to find health. But when we buy into these systems and we believe that they're good for us, and then we tap into them, and then we're not getting the result we're looking for, but then we keep going back to this. It's like, isn't that the definition of insanity? Yeah, who's thought on that, huh?
So for sure. If that we're looked at by the IRS as an entity, and then a corporation would look at it as an entity. Let's call these entities, they're either a parasite or organism. Mm-hmm. And we have a choice to be a parasite or organism in that. So as it's framed, what does a parasite and an organism want to do? They want to survive. And I'm fine with that, because I even had somebody that I was talking to who was saying, well, the guy was just wanted to make money, the CEO. And I was like,
that's cool.
Yeah, but there's many ways to make money.
Yeah, it's like, but...
And you don't necessarily need that much money, and I'm not against money. I'm fine with the guns don't kill people, people kill people. I'm fine with that. To the whole, because there's many choices to do that. I love that people just don't randomly break in my house all the time because they think I might have a gun in my house. I love that for a fact, but I will choose never to have a gun. Maybe at some time I'll have to have security, but I don't I don't want to do that, but if I have to, if that's a structure that I need to feel more, to still remain, to be free and sovereign with my cells and everything, and be able to focus on things and being able to say the things that I need to say, then that's something that I'll have to let go of to go towards.